parties.
Awesome.
Yay. Okay. So first things first, I would say my best tip and my best habit that I've been forming right now and still working on, as Stacy knows, is doing 25 contacts a week. Every single week. So asking people to book parties all the time, not just when we need bookings, because that's when we tend to ask for bookings, right? So asking people to book parties all the time. I do a minimum, and I train my team to do a minimum of 4 parties a week, every single week of the month. So some of you may have heard this before, but well, and if you were, I think it was conference last year, we heard this. If you do 4, you're going to have a total flop. You're going to have one that barely qualifies. You're going to have like a kilo show, and then you're going to have somewhere in between, like an average, above average party. So I always say, if you can do 1, you can do 4. You're going to schedule your posts. You're going to be efficient, but it's going to be worth it to do at least 4. So my personal goal is I do 6 a week, but I coach my team to do a minimum of 4. So what I would do, and treat this like just starting out with your business with live parties, is book 1 month completely, totally jam-packed full, more than maybe you want to do on a regular basis, because you're going to get the bookings from there. So to do that, 25 contacts a week for sure. I love if you love Pampered Chef, pick a number between 1 and 30. Have you guys seen that before? Mm-hmm. That's an awesome way to book parties. I use that when I'm down a little bit on my bookings. But the key when you're booking outside of your parties is to make it sound really simple and be super direct and to the point. So my message all the time, it literally never changes, is, hey, Sandra, I'm booking my Facebook parties for the end of the month. Wondering if you'd like to host one. We have 30 new products, amazing specials for you and your friends. What do you think? Just super crazy simple, and I really never change it. Obviously, the 30 new products changes, but just super, super simple. Make the party sound fun and easy. But on that note, I would say don't tell anybody ever that you do all the work. Because if you say, I do all the work, all you have to do is invite your friends, then they won't do anything. And if you've ever done one virtual party, you'll know you can't have a host who doesn't do anything. They have to be involved in their party, and they have to post in their party. So I always warn consultants, never say, I'll do all the work. But I would say the biggest thing, especially for those of you that maybe aren't confident with virtual parties, or you've never done one, or they've been kind of crappy, is you have to, it's the fake it till you make it. You have to be confident that they are fun, simple, easy, and lucrative. I've heard consultants saying, like, I tell my hosts, like, virtual parties aren't the greatest rewards, and I try to get them to do a live party instead or whatever. And it's like, why would I book with you if that's your attitude? So you have to adopt the attitude that it's going to be amazing. So that's really it. Like, if I was starting out with no virtuals on my calendar, I would do if you love Pampered Chef, pick a number and message everybody and do your 25 contacts a week till you're full. Then when you're full,
when you respond to those people who pick a number?
I have a script. I can send it to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
What's the gist of it, though?
Is that the blender going? What's happening?
Yeah. We're making soup.
Nice. The gist of it is, thanks for picking a number, for picking number 15. Yeah, like, so I do different prizes for each number, but I'll just basically do, if they pick 1 to 5, they get $25 free. If they do pick 6 to 10, they get an extra half price item. If whatever, like, I only have like 3 or 4 different things that I give them. So I basically say, thanks for picking number 6. I know you love Pampered Chef. For picking number 6, when you host a party with me in September, you're going to get a new fall product for free. What do you think? So just super simple again, right? I don't love private messages that have a bunch of emojis and stuff, because I don't think that's real. Like, I don't want it to look like a marketing message. So it's really, really simple. So I would do that. And then once you have your parties booked, so something that I just changed that I'm really hoping is going to keep me out of jail is there is a way to use SynShare with posting as your business page. So when you're doing virtual parties now, you have to set them up through your business page as a group or an event. But you want to do most of your posting as your business page too. So whether you're going to use the scheduler right in Facebook or whether you're going to use SynShare, just make sure you're posting as your business page, not as yourself. And I have a video for that too. I can send you, Andrea, for how to set that up.
So just to confirm, post your post as your business page, don't post them as yourself,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I did, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be your business page. Okay, so your number one goal, just like live parties, is to build relationships. So you want to start getting side conversations going as much as you can. So that's the thing with virtual parties that people miss is the personal relationships. Like you've got to make it your goal to make friends in there. And so it's harder online for sure. It can be. So you want to make sure that you're early in the party sending out friend requests and early in the party starting to send messages to people. And I just say, thanks for joining Julie's party. I hope you're having fun. Is there anything you were wondering about or anything you really want to see before we finish up on Friday?
Okay,
Just
so
to start a conversation.
And what kind of a response do you get? Like, 25% of people will respond to you, 25 ignore you, and 25 just are like, no, looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say it really depends. It depends on the party. It depends on the interaction.
Are you sending this message after you've sent them a friend request?
Yeah.
And you friend request everybody?
Yeah, I friend request everybody. I try to start doing that even during the pre-party if they're really excited. But if I've had any kind of interaction with them, usually a couple days in, once they like kind of get to know me a little bit, then like I would say I start my parties, I do Monday to Friday and I start them on the Friday before with pre-party. And I would say by Tuesday, I send friend requests to everybody that's participated so far. And then starting on Wednesday, I start sending that message out. Okay, so building relationships with people, and I don't ever ask for a booking, honestly, until the very end. Even if I'm having a great conversation with somebody, I mean, unless they're like, I love everything and I can't afford it all, obviously then. But I don't ask them unless it comes up super organically in that conversation. Towards the end of my parties, so usually Saturday is my last sort of like, so the party ends Friday, but we close Saturday. So Friday or Saturday, I post a book a party. When you get 3 bookings, your host gets a gift. So like the gift box or the spoons that Pampered Chef has in the outline. And I tag my host in that, and I get her to tag 5 of her friends in that post. And
yeah, for like the stuff that you're telling us, I know this is recorded, but is there a way that you can email it to us, or?
I can send you my notes.
Yeah,
It's
that'd
not
be awesome.
detailed, yeah, but I can send it to you. So get your host to tag 5 friends in your booking post, and then the next day or later that day, I get her to message any of those people that didn't book already. So then what I also do with that 3 bookings get a gift is as soon as somebody books, I post the next one. So like one of them says like 1 person booked, 2 to go. And I say, thank you, Sarah, and tag her and say, Julie only needs 2 more friends to say yes to a free shopping spree and she gets a gift from me. And then sometimes she'll even then tag more friends and be like, come on, guys. You
And
you want to
do that in the comments or in a separate post?
Separate post.
And then you never private message people asking for shows. You only do it on the live show.
No, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I find that 3 bookings get a gift. If you can just get 1, you're probably going to get 3 because your host gets really excited and her friends want to help her out. So and some parties, it's a lot of work to get 1, but I find if I get 1 booking on a party, I'm probably getting 3. So So I really do like that. And I'll be honest, whether this is a good thing or not, I don't know. I don't give a lot of those gifts. I know lots of consultants do different things. I give them the gift after all 3 parties hold
Yes,
Yes.
and qualify.
yes.
So I don't end up giving a lot of the gifts because out of 4 parties, 1 probably is going to flop, right? So I do find, especially when people book to help their friend, sometimes they're not as good, right? So there are a few worse, because I know sometimes people are like, oh my God, that's a lot of prizes. But obviously, if you're getting 3 bookings at every party, you can afford it. You guys know that. But I don't end up giving a ton of them. So I don't even tell my host what it is. I'm usually like, it's a surprise, or it's a new product that hasn't come out yet, or whatever.
And you just add something to show, right?
Yeah, I add it to the 3rd show as usually their future party pick, because usually by then they're out of stuff to buy anyway. And I think that's it for that. So at the end, I'll talk to you about that after. Just like a live party, guys, power tools. So I don't talk about a lot of small stuff, right? Like a full day on the quick cooker, a full day on the blender, a full day. And I show supplemental products that go with it, but the big focus, the recipes and everything are all around this power tool. And then I do like doing wish list Wednesday, and I just post a picture I found on Google that's like 50% off, and I say, if you could get anything in the catalog 50% off, what would you get? And then I can use that when I message people, which I'll talk about next, and just I'm like, I know you have the quick cooker on your wish list, it's 60% off next month, or it's 50% off. So then at the end of the party, doesn't really matter when, guys, like I start messaging some people on, say, Friday, and sometimes I'm not messaging people until the next week when the party's been closed. But I message every single person, not just the ones that order, everybody that participates in any way. Even if all they did the whole week was guess a number on a game, I message them.
Even if they didn't order.
Oh yeah, I would say most of my bookings come from people who didn't order. So, and it's funny because most of the time, a lot of the time, the people who ordered didn't participate in the party. They were in it, but they weren't really commenting and stuff.
Yeah.
They
wanted.
Yeah. So if you're not messaging the people who didn't order, you're missing out, because that's
What
where
do you message them?
So then I say, and again, this never changes. So I say, hey, Sandra, thanks for joining Julie's party this week. I hope you had fun. Can we do this again next month with your friends? And here's the key. I'm trying to help Julie out and get her some bookings. She gets host perks for each one. We have great specials coming up for you and your friends. And of course, you get to shop for free and 50% off. What do you think?
Can you please send me that too?
I will. Yeah. So the key there is, like, when I stopped adding that in for a while, the like, I'm trying to help her out, and my bookings tanked. I get tons of bookings from this message because they want to help their friend, right? Like that's one of the top 3 reasons people book shows. So
can you read that last line again? I'm trying to help Sandra.
yeah, okay. So, hey, I hope you had fun. Can we do this again next month with your friends? I'm trying to help Julie out and get her some bookings. She gets host perks for each one. We have some great specials coming up, and of course, you get to shop for free and 50% off. What do you think? So yeah, that's the biggest booking for me, bookings off of parties, is that message. So then for sure I have some parties where I get 0 bookings, but then I'll have parties where I get like 7. So it all kind of evens out.
And sorry,
So
Chris, can I ask one more? That was to everybody who's interacted in some way, shape, or form, not necessarily people that were invited and didn't click or.
Right. So basically what I do is I sit down and I write out. So the only difference is if they ordered, I say, hey, thanks so much for your order, or thanks again, because I've already ordered or messaged them and said, thank you for your order. But I just say, thanks again for your order on Julie's party. I hope you had fun this week. Everything else is the same. So I sit down with my list of all the people that have interacted in the party. I just keep a note of like a running list of who's interacted. And then I highlight the ones that have ordered and I message them first. And then I take out the thanks for ordering and I copy my message, and then I message everybody else that interacted.
Thank you.
Because sometimes, yeah, the ones that ordered didn't even interact in any way. Like sometimes I'm writing extra names down because they didn't interact.
Do you friend all these people?
Yes. Not everybody accepts my friend request, but I friend them all.
You're friending them, but you are the one friending them.
I do a post towards the end of the party that says send me a friend request or accept the one that I sent you and I'll give you extra tickets. It's hit and miss. Again,
At least
it's like,
you're offering it.
yeah, some parties I get tons and some I don't, but I usually am the one to initiate. It's rare that I get somebody messaging me or friend requesting me before, but I friend request everybody that participated.
And they're in your VIPs then?
I am not great at adding people to my VIP group, but I do give them extra tickets if they join.
Does Facebook still have 5,000 max?
What's that?
Of friends?
Yeah.
I think they still do.
Yeah, so Facebook has a 5,000 person max.
Oh, I'm getting
You
pretty
just go through and delete people after a while.
You could delete people, or people can still follow you.
Krista, do you put them in your business page then?
I don't. I give them tickets for doing that stuff, but I'm not that organized. I mean, if you can, that's awesome, but I
It's
don't.
just on your main Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm finding I'm getting more likes now that I'm doing my parties through my business page, right? Because they're seeing it. Okay, so let's talk about recruiting. Okay, the biggest thing I would say is talk about the money. So I do a guess the paycheck game where I show a check with my amount crossed out, and I tell them, like, I stay home with the kids full time, I do this many parties, how much do you think I make? And it is nuts, you guys. Unless somebody's in direct sales, the max anyone has ever guessed is $1,500. And when I flip it over and show them the total, they're like astounded. The only other way it goes is if someone's in network marketing and they're like $25,000. But otherwise, like, it's nuts. People are like $700 is what they guess. Like, it's crazy. So I love that one. And you don't need a like $7,000, $8,000 or $10,000 paycheck to show that. Like, if their biggest guess is $1,500, if you can show them a $2,000 paycheck, that's worth it, right? That's life changing. When you're telling your story, so this is something I learned recently that I find is big. When you're telling your story, we often talk about what we were looking for, right? We're like, I was looking for a way to make extra money, blah, blah, blah. But what you need to do is kind of reverse it and talk about your pain points. So what was your life like when you joined Pampered Chef? Like, I never left my house, I didn't have any friends, or we couldn't pay our debt. I was sick of feeling sick at the end of the month because I couldn't pay my credit card bills, or I couldn't buy groceries, or whatever it was, right? I really wanted more Pampered Chef product and I couldn't afford it. Whatever your pain points were, they find that's what people really connect with. Like when you say, I was looking for a way to make extra money, there's no connection there. But when you say, I couldn't pay my bills at the end of the month, or I was sick of working 60 hours a week, people are like, yep, I hear that. So you really want to make sure you're talking about what the pain points were and then how you overcame that with your business. So it's getting a little bit vulnerable, but it makes a big difference because you ask yourself, what are you doing in your parties to inspire people? So no one's going to want to join the business if you don't inspire them to. So what are you doing to inspire people? And you need to ask yourself that question, because what's inspiring about you might not be the same thing that's inspiring about me, right? So you need to say, like, what do I do that's inspiring? How can I inspire people? So like, yeah, if you're a product person or if it's the money or whatever it is. Okay, so then you're going to play the Ask Me Anything game. So everybody gets tickets for asking questions about being a consultant. And with that, if I don't have any interaction in that, and I always put like guess or questions you can steal if you need ideas. I put like 4, like the 3, Andrea, your magic questions that you always make sure, like you've got your top 3 to make sure, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do I get started? How much money do you make? And how do I get trained? Stuff like that you can throw in there. But if nobody's asking, I get my host to start it off and tag some people because you want interaction in that. And then every single person that comments on that and asks a question, I message them and say, hey, thanks for playing. You asked some great questions. Are you in the market for some extra income? So I don't ask, have you ever thought about doing Pampered Chef, or have you ever thought about doing something like this? Because a lot of times the answer is no, they haven't.
Can you repeat that?
Yep. Thanks for playing my game. You asked some great questions. Are you in the market for some extra income?
Oh,
And a lot of times they're like, no, I just was curious, or no, I sell blah, blah, blah. But sometimes it's like, yeah, you know, I've kind of been looking for something, and it starts a conversation. So that's a big one where I get lots of leads from, is that I also message anybody that interacted a lot, anybody who was super excited, and anybody that I just really like anybody I connect with, and basically just say whatever's relevant, right? Like, you were so engaging in the party. I loved your energy. I'm looking for people like you. Are you in the market for some extra income?
Yeah.
Or like, I love how much you love the product. Thanks for sharing your recipes. Are you in the market for some extra income? Whatever it is, right?
Okay.
The biggest thing that you can do, guys, if you want to increase your recruiting, is to ask every single host 5 times to join your team.
Yep.
The first 4 times, most of them will say no. But most who do say yes on the 5th time.
Whoa.
So I never used to recruit my hosts in live parties ever. Like when Andrea and I met and did our workshop, she was like, all my recruits are hosts. And I'm like, I don't recruit any of my hosts. Now I would say like 90% of my recruits are hosts. So the biggest thing, like I have a document, so I'll send it to you, Andrea. I have a visual of all 5 times.
Perfect.
But it's like, I'm setting up your party. Let's turn this into your launch. Your friends are really excited and joining the party. Are you sure? You just earned a kit credit. Are you sure? Did I tell you about the hosts or the sign up bonus? And then at the end, like, hey, I know you've said no to me 100 times already, but I just have to make sure you know I got 4 bookings and you've earned $50 off your kit. Are you sure you don't want to give it a try? And lots will say yes at that point. But you have to make sure they know that they get the bookings, because I've had people say no to me. And then I'm like, but your friends love this stuff. Like, you've already got 4 people that are booking. And she says, well, yeah, but they booked with you. So I don't even know who else would book. And then I'm like, no, they're yours. You can have those bookings. But they don't think that way, right? Like, they're like, well, okay, so the 4 people who were going to book shows booked with this person. So I'm out of people. So like, it's one of those, like, you'd be crazy, dude. I made $250 on your party. You got 4 bookings. You get $50 off the kit. Like, why wouldn't you do this? Okay. Outside of that, I would say practice responding to objections, because you're going to get them. So just, you need to have set answers for how you respond to objections. I think Andrea has my responding to objections document, but I can send it. It's got everything. And I like to just use, hey, I would love for you to let me help you try it for 30 days. You really have nothing to lose. Like, if you're kind of stuck for what to say to somebody, if they're like, I've tried other things or whatever, like, I would love for you to let me help you for 30 days. Your biggest job as a recruiter is to be an encourager. Most people don't think they can do it. They want to do it. They see you, they're inspired, they love it, but they don't think they can do it. And then nobody comes off my lead list until they join, or they tell me they will never, ever, ever join. So I have a separate group that I call Share the Love, and I add all my leads into there. And it's just a very quiet group. I post the special every month. I'll post an invite to the Look and Learn, and I use that to kind of keep track of who to ask every month and who to talk to. I don't post a ton in there. I think in Cinshare training, they called it like a trickle group or a drip group. Like you just like every once in a while, just post one thing. It's not crazy.
What do you call that group?
What do I call it? Share the Love.
That's her.
Yeah, you can call it anything. I have a page that I called like the Pampered Chef Side Hustle with Krista, like something, I don't know, something engaging. And then, okay, so any questions about recruiting before I tell you about new consultants? Cool. Okay, so new consultants virtually, because when you're recruiting them virtually, they want to do virtuals, right? And like people don't want a commitment, guys. They like the idea of being able to try virtual without having to do live parties. So I've heard so many leaders say to me, well, I just really encourage them to do a live launch party because I think it's really important to do a live launch party. Don't go there. Like give them the option, but they don't have to. People who you meet virtually are going to want to do mostly a virtual business until they feel more confident. So just really focus on the virtual. But I would say the best thing that you can do is document what's working for you. So every single thing you do, and as leaders, and especially as leaders who've been in the business for a long time, we kind of forget that the things that we do every day are what work. So everything you do that works, you need to tell your team. So go live in your group and tell them what you're doing. Have a document. I have a Google Doc open, and if I have words that work, I just take a screenshot and put it in there. Like you just want to be able to document everything. I give them an outline every month, but it's different than mine because I don't want to get blocked because people aren't doing what they need to do, which is change pictures. So I do give my team an outline. It's different pictures than mine. But you want to make sure that you are duplicatable and that you're writing things down for them. So like I said, you can keep a Google Doc open that's like the Bible of our team. And you just like, this is what I do for host coaching. This is what I do for my parties. This is how I recruit people. And I do their launch party for them. So they're in it, obviously, but I tell them, I'm going to host coach you so that you experience this the way a host would. And so you can learn how to coach your hosts. So then they're learning that, but I do all the posting for them. And then I turn that group into their VIP group because they've already got all their friends in there. So then you just make them the admin and flip it. That wasn't my idea, but I love that idea. Or if they were just a host, right? Like if you are closing a party today and somebody signs up, you're going to post in the group and say, Sharon's now your consultant. And then you're going to flip that into her VIP group because that's got all her people in it already.
So in that case, if you just coached them, then would they do their own launch? Or would you still,
And if I was closing a party today and she signed, I probably wouldn't do a launch party. I would then be coaching the crap out of her to get bookings. Like now so I got you 4, you need to go back to all the other people and get them to book with you. Because just because they said no to me doesn't mean they won't book with you. So I give them a text to send out. So on that note, I coach all my new consultants to send 30 messages a day until they have 4 shows a week booked in their first month. I would say 1 in 10 actually does it, but that's your superstar, right? Like that's your person that you're now glued to. So you want to give them a script and follow up with them. Like, how are your messages coming today? How are your messages coming today? I tell them to send screenshots as soon as somebody responds. So unless they say, yes, book me, or no, stop talking to me, they send me a screenshot. Because lots of times I found I would say, send me screenshots, and I'll help you with how to respond. But they send you a screenshot too late. It's like they've already screwed up and they've already tried and they've gone too far away where you can like bring them back. So I say, I want you to send me a screenshot. When you say, here's the script, will you book a party? And the person sends you something, that's where I want a screenshot because that's where I can help you. And so get them sending screenshots and teach them how to follow up with the people that don't respond. So that's the biggest thing too, is just letting them know most people aren't going to respond to you, and that's okay. Most people are going to read your message and ignore you. You need to set the expectation with them, because otherwise they do the 30 messages for one day and then they go, nobody's going to help me. Well, I'm already a failure, and they've only been doing it a day. So you need to say, like, most people aren't going to respond to you, and we're going to follow up with them in a couple of days. So then I get them to say, hey, so-and-so, just wanted to see if you got my message the other day. What do you think? So then when they feel like they've run out of people to contact, then you need to go back to all the people who didn't respond to you and send them this message. And they'll usually get a few more. They sometimes still get people not responding, but. And then I would say, especially with virtual consultants, and especially as your recruiting increases, guys, just remember that it's a chess game. So when you make a move and you try to help them and you're coaching them, they need to do something. So you make a move and then they make a move. You can't be responsible for their success, because I find with virtual, it's way more often you're going to get people joining who think that just because they ordered a kit, they're going to get bookings, and they're not going to do the work. And just don't give up on that. Like, I remember just feeling so defeated because I was doing all this recruiting with virtual parties once I kind of figured it out, and I had so many duds. But it's like, this is the nature of the game. Just keep recruiting and you're going to find the people. It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall, right? Like, you're going to find people who are going to do the things and listen to you and be coachable. But just, you've got to recruit more. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else virtual party wise. Don't use anybody else's pictures ever for anything. People think like, oh, it's just me, I'll just use it. And that's what gets people in jail, is using other people's words and other people's pictures. So do not be tempted. But don't overthink it, guys. Like, you just have to jump in with both feet and just do it. And we heard Julie share at conference, like, how scared she was to do virtuals and how out of touch she felt and how out of her comfort zone it was. And it's just so worth it. Like, your business is gonna explode if you really embrace this virtual party concept and just do it. And know that you're gonna get blocked. You're gonna have parties that flop. You're gonna have ups and downs so much with virtual parties, but there's so many more ups, and it's worth it. But you just have to, like, fight through the jail. You got to fight through the dealing with it and make it work. That's all I have.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Krista. Questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
I have a question, Krista.
Yeah.
So you were talking, it's Courtney, you were talking about building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something, like, with your hosts, for example, like, are you getting to know them at all? Like, do you find you know your host the same way you would know your, like, past cooking show host? Like, you know their kids, their, like, how many kids they have, or do they live rural or in the city? Like, do you know that kind of stuff?
Yes. For me, just my personality, that is a very conscious effort. It's not in my nature to get to know people like that. That sounds really terrible, but that's just who I am. So yes, but you have to be really conscious of it. I do have hosts that at the end of the week, when I go to send them their closing message, I realize that, like, we haven't had a conversation all week. So those aren't the people that are going to join your team, right? So you have to make sure, like, so for me, I'm really conscious on, like, Tuesday to make sure to send them a message and just say, like, how was your weekend? What did you guys get up to? Like, really trying hard to develop those relationships, because it is easy to just every morning send them a host coaching message and then not talk to them at all. Mm-hmm. And then realize at the end of the week, you've done nothing but send stuff to them. So
you really connect with them through a message, like through Messenger with questions like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Use your voice as much as you can too, guys. Like, post coaching messages. Sometimes I'll even, like if I want them to say to post their favorite product, I'll try sometimes to send a voice message and be like, hey, I was just thinking, even though that was my plan all week for you to post your favorite product. I'm like, hey, I was just thinking, it'd be fun. Could you just post a picture of your favorite product? Even better if it's like a selfie with you. And it's just that voice to voice. It gets them to feel like they know you better than an obvious copy and paste. Anything else? Any other questions?
What kind of return hosts, like rebookings, like next season? Like, do you have a lot of repeat hosts?
I do. So one thing that you can do, I don't do this consistently, but lots of my team does, is before closing, they offer their host an incentive to rebook for the new catalog. So saying like, that was so fun. There'll be a new catalog in like the 6 months. So why don't we rebook you? And then you'll get an extra 50% off item. And then they'll usually give a bonus that day for rebooking. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I did that for a while and I found I was started to get cancellations because it's so far away. But if you're really good at maintaining relationships, then it would probably be a great thing to do. But I do find even without doing that consciously, I get a lot of repeat hosts. Like right now, actually, this week coming up, out of my 6 parties, I think 5 of them are repeats.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's lots.
And are they contacting you to host, or is that you reaching out to them and saying previous?
I would say it's both. This week it's because of the blender.
Right.
But any other time I would say it's half and half. Like part of my 25 contacts a week would be to go back to past hosts, right? And say, hey, it's been a year since your party. Let's do another one.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Fantastic.
That's what we've
Thank
been
you,
all
Krista.
doing.
I think we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
But I think I had a little list of things for you to share with us, or your list of objections.
Okay.
And I'll message you. How you ask 5 times your host,
Right.
and what to send to people for the 1 to 30. Pick a number between 1 to 30.
Right. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Krista, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, especially on a Saturday. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Love you.
Have fun, guys. I wish I was there with you.
Thank you.
Bye.